For them, that was awesome. That was kind of weak. Now, if I said cheer for your basketball team, what would you do? Right? Come on, where's the basketball team? I heard you guys had a big win the other night. No? Where are you at? Give it up for the basketball team, huh? We need a little cheering going. That's you. My name is Travis Turner, and I'm grateful to be here at ACU, and hopefully we can get this thing to work. There we go. I want to introduce you first, before I get going, to my family. On the left is our son, Buddy. He is a senior at Grand Canyon University. I'm finding out I gotta stay away from these things, yes? My wife and my son-in-law is on the far right, our daughter, and our 2-year-old granddaughter named Cora. Now, our daughter and son-in-law are moving to Atlanta soon, and so they're living with us. So we've had some fun encounters with our 2-year-old granddaughter recently. She said to me, and this kind of blew me away, she said, "Papa, let's play with the iPad." I don't even own an iPad. And she goes, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. She goes, no, we're gonna play Angry Birds. She's 2 years old. I'm like, crazy. So she goes and grabs this iPad, and next thing you know, she's 2 years old. I'm feeling really old right now because there's no way I can handle an iPad. I don't even own an iPad. She's 2 years old. It's crazy to me. So that's our family, and my wife is here in the back with us today. Wife of 27 years. That's pretty good. And we've been working with Christian couples to try to eliminate divorce in the Christian community, and we're discovering that's a pretty hard task. And today, because I look at this group, and I'm thinking, you're not the future of Christianity, you are the present of Christianity in America today. And so I'm just grateful to have a chance to spend a little time with you. And I want to talk today about causality, which is the relation of cause and effect. Because everything you do will have a cause and effect. Scripturally, we talk as reaping and sowing. And right now, in your life, you are making decisions that will have a cause and effect for the rest of your life. Because some of you, for the first time, you're away from home. You're out from under the microscope of moms and pops. And you're getting to make decisions, and you're doing things that will affect you literally for the rest of your life. There will be a cause and effect regarding your life here at ACU. You're going to be thinking about what kind of career you want to have, where you want to live, what kind of lifestyle you want to have. You're going to be thinking about marriage, who you want to marry, what that's going to look like. But more than anything else, you're going to have to decide, what are you going to do with this guy, Jesus? What do you really believe about who he is and who he wants to be in your life? Because you're going to have to make a decision of what that really represents. Because I know why you're here. You're hearing it. Right? Week in and week out, you're coming, doing the thing. But what do you really believe? That's what you're deciding. You're discovering what you really believe about who he is and who you think he wants to be in your life. And that will have an effect throughout the rest of your life. And really, causality also can be from generation to generation. There's a cause and effect. And let me give you an idea. I was raised with very permissive parents because that generation, and my mom would attest to it, she said she didn't want to parent anymore. So I had very permissive parents. I had no curfew. Everybody said, sweet. I had no curfew whatsoever. They didn't check my grades. They didn't look at anything. When I was in college and I had this ATM card and it kept giving me money, so I kept withdrawing. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Some of you can appreciate that. My folks never looked into anything I was doing at all. I had all the freedom in the world to get myself into trouble. Matter of fact, let me give you an illustration from when I was in high school. My dad was a car dealer, all right? And so it was really cool because I could borrow all kinds of cars on the lot, and I loved doing that. And when I was a junior, I saw this car in the lot. It was a yellow Camaro, and I fell in love with it. And I said, Dad, I really want that car. Next thing I know, the car's off the lot, so I didn't think anything of it. And that Christmas, under the tree was a set of keys. And out in the backyard was
a yellow
Camaro with a bow on it. And I loved that car, and I drove that car very fast. And one winter night in western Nebraska, driving around in the snow with my buddies, and we were partying in my Camaro, because that's what I like to do. I like to have fun. So we're partying. Next thing you know, I slide into this guy and I rear end him. Oops. So everybody gets out of the car, ditches, takes all the empties, right? You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about. Takes all the empties and ditches them. And we're like, so, before the cops get there, cops show up, and I'm scared. Nothing happens. He finds a full, unopened bottle of schnapps under my seat and busts me for it. Minor in possession. I didn't get DUI. He didn't even test me or anything. Oh, God. I started realizing then that God was protecting me. I didn't realize it at the time, but now as I look back, should have got DUI, should have been really bad. But this is what happened. I knew I had to tell my dad. I wrecked my car, and I got to deal with this MIP thing. So I go to my dad, and I said, Dad, sit down. And he sits down, and he gives me this look. And he says, who's pregnant? I'm like, oh no, man, this is nothing. oh no, I just got MIP, wrecked my car. He's like, oh, good. So that's what my life was like. I even got kicked off the work detail, and I don't know how he fixed it. But that's kind of how my parents were, very permissive. And I found that to be really true with a lot of people in my generation. We had permissive parents. We did a lot of things. And because we had all this permissiveness in our life, we had a lot of regrets. A lot of things we wish we wouldn't have done. I wish somebody would have checked on my grades. I think I could have been a good student, but nobody really cared. And because I was a jock, it was kind of like, just stay eligible. Sweet. It's too bad. I had no oversight. So what happened to my generation, I've discovered, because we had all this permissiveness and all this guilt in our own lives, and we're trying to walk with God, we parented really, really differently than our parents did. There was this cause and effect. We went from permissiveness to, we are all up in your business. How many know what I'm talking about? Yeah, you were right. I got you. Okay. We are into everything about your life, aren't we? We're going to school, we're going to class, we're talking to everybody, we're raising you up, no sodas, no TV, none of that nasty music, right? We're going to protect you, we're going to hover around you. We were the beginning of the helicopter parents, right? We're floating around, watching you, trying to protect you, trying to do all this stuff, and keeping you out of trouble, right? And you're hating it the whole time, amen? But we're protecting you, we're trying to do all this stuff, trying to protect you, and then we think, well, not only we want to help you with education, we're going to homeschool you. Because we want you 24/7 to ourselves. We're going to homeschool you, we're going to raise you up right, we're going to protect you, and all the time you're like, man, this is messed up. And with sports, it was really bad. I remember just getting dropped off from practice. I never remember my dad hanging around to go to practice. Not only are we going to practice, we're sitting there. We're watching. And not only are we going to go to practice and watch, we're going to talk to the coach. Right? You know what I'm talking about? And not only are we going to talk to the coach, we're going to let him know that my boy needs to play a little more. My boy needs the ball. Why aren't you giving my boy the ball? Right? We're doing all this stuff because we're going to protect you. We want to help you. We want to be there for you. And we're going to stalk you on Facebook. Right? Now the question is, why are we doing all this? What was our intentions? Our intentions were good. We wanted to help you. We wanted to raise you right. We wanted to protect you. We didn't want you to make the mistakes that we made. We wanted to protect you from all that. And as you got into high school, You were like, man, they don't let me do anything. Right? They're protecting me so much, I don't even know who I am anymore. And that was the cause and the effect of all what we're doing. And the sad part is, I wonder how much of all of that parenting was really about us. We stalked your Facebook because we had one of our friends say, wow, did you see what your son posted? Oh, I did. We were worried about how we looked. Were we really worried about you? Yeah. But I wonder how much of it really was about us and about our status in the Christian community and how we looked. And you were our bright, shining star of Christianity. And you're sitting back there going, really? Did we really show you what unconditional love was? Were we really about relationship? Were we really about showing you what repentance even really looks like? No. How often do you remember your dad telling you he was sorry for something he did? Unfortunately, we were more about rules and doing this and doing that and looking good than we were about building a relationship with you and helping guide and direct you towards a relationship with the living God. And I think in many aspects, we failed as a generation. And I'll show you why. This is how we failed. Because when it comes to marriage, we have a 50% death rate. 50% of the Christian marriages are dying. That's a problem. And see, the fact is, you as young people, you grew up in these homes watching it. And you're saying, wow, we do this on Sunday, but this is what life's like on Monday. There's a disconnect. There's something wrong with this picture. And you're watching mom and dad. Wow, they preach a good word, but do they really live it? And a lot of you lived in homes where like, man, this is a mess. But we're all under the guise of going to church and doing this thing and doing that thing. But did we really show you what love was like? Because I think my generation, if you look at it as a whole, did we really believe you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you? No. If we really believed that, we wouldn't have a 50% death rate in the most important relationship you will ever have in your life here on earth. 50% death rate. To our generation, this is what we passed down to you. And so my concern is, wow, what are you going to do with this? What's the cause and effect in your relationships? What are you going to do with Jesus? When you're looking at mom and dad going, I don't understand what any of this means now. I don't even know if I believe it. Yeah, I'll go do the Christian thing. I'll show up to church. I'll go to chapel. I'll play your little Christian game. I'll be a part of the Christian club anyway. But what do you really believe? Playing the game, being a part of the club isn't anything. Everybody can do that. A relationship with Jesus is a whole different thing. A relationship with the living God is a whole different thing. It's not a club, it's not a game. It's none of that. Barna Research has come out and taken a look at your generation, the 18 to 29 group. And what they're finding out, kids that grew up in church, 60% of them are leaving the church entirely. They're walking away. Don't need it. It doesn't work. I don't want it to be a part of my life. Church is shallow. Mom and dad were overprotective. They were too much in my business. I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm out of here. 60%. That's a testament to my generation's how we raised you. We failed. In many ways, we did you a terrible disservice. We didn't show you what God really, really wants to do in your life. Because we were struggling ourselves. We were just trying to figure it out. Now the other piece of that is relationship. What are you going to do regarding personal relationships? Because see, mom and dad freaked out when we first started dating, right? Like, oh my God. They interviewed anybody that came, right? They freaked out. I mean, as a generation, we freaked out over everything. Piercings, oh my God. Tattoos, Lord help us. Lord help them. I mean, we're pathetic. The way we reacted so much to the things you were trying to discover and figure out on your own, we just panicked about it because we didn't know what to do. So what we're finding now, and what I'm seeing, is your generation's getting married later and later and later in life because you look at marriage and go, I don't know. I don't think it's all that good. There's a real problem with it. We got a 50% divorce rate. This doesn't work. I don't know. I don't know if I trust it. How many know what I'm talking about? And your generation is sitting there kind of paralyzed relationally. And so what I'm seeing is, instead of actually making a commitment, you're playing with it. Cohabitation is the mainstream now of your generation. Cohabitation from 20 to 25, even up to 30 years old. Well, let's just live together. Let's just play with it. Let's just see what happens. Let's see how it works. Let's just try it out. I don't know what to do. Let's just try it out. And the problem with that is, and I understand why you're doing it, because we gave you that. I understand it. I get it. I really don't blame you. I blame us. We failed you. We didn't show you what marriage was supposed to look like as a generation for a lot of you. Now, some of you are saying, no, this doesn't apply, and that's great. But for the majority of you, I think we failed. And that because we handed you that, you're like, show me what's really true, what's really real. And if you're looking at what we gave to you, what's your percentage going to be? We handed you 50% death rate. My fear is, in another generation, we're going to be looking at 60 and 70% death rate in marriages in the Christian community. Now, to me, the Christian community are the people of God, the people that have asked Christ into their life, that have the living God living in them. The same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead can live in you. That makes you a very powerful being in my mind. And if I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, that's got to mean I can handle a relationship. I can handle a marriage. I can make it work in Christ. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So I'll tell you, the ramifications, the causality of divorce is terrible. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Your parents are split, or you have other people in your life where, what's Thanksgiving like? Well, whose house do we get to go to? I don't know. And what's that going to be like? And where do we get to spend Christmas? What do the holidays look like? And then you have when somebody gets married or there's a graduation, you have to mix all these families. How many know what I'm talking about? It's terrible. These are awful circumstances you have to walk around in, all because of this. All because of this. But I think, and I really believe this to be true, you can change it. You must change it. This has got to change. And the one thing I've seen with your generation is you're in search of truth. I believe that. Because you're sick of the dogma. You want something true. You don't want religion. And that's what dogma is. It's religion. Well, I'm going to do the rules. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to look the part. I'm going to do the thing right. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that. But deep in your heart, something's missing. You're in search of truth. And the truth is, a relationship with Jesus has very little to do with Sunday. Has very little to do with church. Has very little to do with what school you go to, whether you go to chapel or not. A relationship with Christ is about Tuesday afternoon. Can you sit and hear Him and listen to His voice and know that He wants to talk to you? Or you can open up His Word and it comes alive because His Spirit is in you and He will speak to you. You can have a relationship with the Creator